once again to our show that is called Real Shame, a show where we watch movies that we probably should have seen, but we're fixing that for you. I am Adam.
I'm Andy.
And this month, we're doing holiday movies like we did last year. It's a fun time to do that. And earlier in the week, we were talking about a movie that kind of has a, what would you say, unconventional view of Santa Claus.
Yeah.
And we wanted to find another movie that did. And we found one. And that movie is called?
Not Slender Man. It's Fatman.
This is scary.
Mel Gibson plays an aging, weary Santa Claus who raises the ire of a young man with a little too much money and privilege in Fatman.
How'd it go?
Got it. How's the knitting going?
Done.
Well, seems like a opportune time to try it out. Don't you think?
Right now?
Why not? Got some heft. Yeah. No. Fine work.
Slight miscalculation. Probably a little stress knitting.
Well, we always wanted a bigger bed.
There's the man I married.
Ruthie, I want to apologize. I lost perspective. Lately, I've been a little self-absorbed and not much of a partner to you.
So Fatman was written and directed by brothers Isham and Ian Nelms. I have never heard of them before. I think they've done some other stuff, but I didn't bother to write it down. But anyway, they were writers and directors of this film. It stars Mel Gibson as Kris Kringle. His wife is played by Marianne Jean-Baptiste, Ruth Kringle. Walton Goggins plays the hitman. He's credited, I believe, as Skinny Man. So Skinny Man to Mel Gibson's Fat Man. But his name, as Mel Gibson calls out, is actually Jonathan Miller. The character's name is Jonathan Miller. And the little boy who actually hires the hitman is played by a guy named Chance Hurstfield. He plays Billy Winnan.
That's right.
So this is a movie that I guess neither one of us have ever seen, right?
I was going to ask if you've seen it before. I didn't see it.
I have not. I mean, I remember when it was coming out, I thought, oh, that looks interesting. You know,
Yeah.
I kind of want to see that. It looks like an action hero kind of Santa Claus
Yeah.
or something like that. But I just never got around to seeing it. And because December rolled around and we did Rare Exports, I thought I would pair it with Rare Exports. But since it is your week to go first,
That's right.
you get to dive in and tell us what you knew about Fatman and what you thought about Fatman.
That's right. So like you, I kind of remember it coming out, and I thought it was going to be more actiony. Like I was expecting like an 80s or 90s action movie with Santa Claus, like, you know, basically being like Arnold Schwarzenegger in The Predator or whatever,
Yeah.
you know, just like taking out fools right and left and all that kind of stuff. And didn't quite get that with this movie a little bit. Like with Rare Exports, I think this premise is kind of interesting. I think, you know, with the premise being like a hitman hired to go hunt down Santa Claus, like that's, I think like you can go places with that.
Sure.
That's an interesting idea and stuff like that. But I just think ultimately it was like kind of lackluster in its implementation. It just felt very like middling to me and stuff like that. It felt like it didn't do the action stuff very well. It didn't do, you know, the Christmas stuff very well. It just kind of felt it's not like it's bad. It just felt like it was okay. It was like mediocre, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of where it sat with me. I was expecting some more fun and more action out of it, and just didn't get any of that stuff when I was watching it. So
Fair enough.
let's see. So that's kind of where I landed on the thing. So what'd you think about it when you watched this bad boy?
I would say I'm higher on this movie than I was on Rare Exports. This movie was frustrating to me because I kind of like when we reviewed Hitch. I felt like Hitch was like two different movies that they kind of smashed into one. I felt the same way with this. I will say overall I did like this movie, despite the fact that it frustrated me. But I agree with some of what you said. I mean, I feel like they should have either not had a hitman in this movie and had it just focused on, because I love the world that is introduced here of this old Santa Claus, of his wife Ruth. I don't know that I've ever heard Maybe it is Ruth Kringle. I don't know. I was just think of
Mrs.
it.
Claus, yeah.
Chris Kringle and Mrs. Claus or whatever. But yeah, Ruth Kringle. I think their marriage is very cool. They have a good relationship. I buy that. I like it. And the fact that they, Christmas is kind of declining. They're short on money, so the government comes in and they're like, okay, your elves are going to do stuff for the military. That's a cool idea,
Yeah.
and I think you can, like you said, go a lot of places with that. And if they would have just had a movie about them doing a military contract and maybe there's some like classified plans or something, somebody tries to steal, I don't know, an elf tries to steal because he's working for somebody else, who knows? I think you can go a lot of different places with that. And at the same time, I think you can go a lot of places with a movie that's just about a hitman where you don't have any of this military contract stuff.
Yeah.
You've just got a disgruntled boy who hires a hitman to go kill Santa Claus because he got a lump of coal as a present. But I think sticking the two together doesn't work that well.
Yeah.
But I did like enough things about this movie that I did like it overall. And I'll probably watch it again next Christmas. But I'm frustrated at the fact that I feel like they tried to take two different ideas that would work, I think, really well on their own, but don't work as well when you smash them together. So I thought Walton Goggins' character is going to show up. So Walton Goggins is the hitman, skinny man. Walton Goggins is going to show up just thinking it's going to be a simple hit on Santa Claus, but the military's there. So he's going to like have to call in like his mercenary friends or something.
No,
but he like easily dispatches
he's like a one-man
the soldier, which I was
yeah.
like, that's like they could have done more with that. Like you said, they could have had a lot more action there, and yeah, I thought he was going to call in his butt. Like he gets there, he sees these guys in like camo, they've got machine guns and everything. He's like, oh crap, I got to call in my like mercenary buddies, and it's going to turn into like an all-out war.
No, he's
like that would have been cool.
He's basically Commando, but with less action, right? You just take some all-out single-handed.
Right, and I thought that was lame. Like it was just too easy for him.
Well, and yeah, for sure.
So,
and also like Mel Gibson's kind of like dour at the beginning of the movie, like down, and then like I guess things are looking up and stuff like that. He gets like, it's not through the whole progress of the movie that he gets happier. It's just like in the middle of the movie, he kind of finds his Christmas spirit again, and that just felt random and not, incongruent with the rest of the movie. I feel like. And the other thing is like, was Mel Gibson putting on an accent? Because it felt like it wasn't his. I mean, I know he's Australian, but I don't think he has an Australian accent anymore. But it sounded like he was putting on some kind of voice or doing something with his voice to be Chris Kringle. Did you notice that at all?
I didn't notice it. No.
Yeah.
I liked the elves, like they're numbered and like they're ranked basically, and like number 7 was really cool. And the part where the elf gets the bomb and like dismantles it really
Like 5
quickly,
seconds,
I thought that was awesome. Like little details like that. They
I like how they don't repeat a number. I thought that was
They
smart.
don't repeat a number. Yeah, they and basically the elves are small because they have a terrible diet, which I thought was really funny.
Yeah, the military guy's like,
yeah,
you
he's
guys
like,
gotta
I could make you guys bigger, if you
you guys can get some sunshine, eat some
right,
protein.
right. Yeah, I mean, but that's the whole reason. Like that, I thought that was cool. I also like the fact that because Mel Gibson, Santa Claus, whatever, Chris Kringle, he can heal. Like you could shoot him. He's he's basically immortal.
He's
for all
Wolverine.
intents and purposes. But they introduced the fact that he can heal because he gets shot while he's out in his flare or whatever by some kids with an air rifle. And he's like, no, it'll heal in the usual way. I think they kind of introduced that in a natural way. So there's a lot of cool little details of this movie. To me, it feels like a mashup of two different ideas that they put into one movie. It did work for me.
Okay.
I mean, but definitely with caveats. I was frustrated.
I got one more question.
Yeah.
So did it imply that, I think the movie implied that Mel Gibson wasn't always Santa Claus?
I didn't catch that.
Okay.
What do you remember what it was that
he like killed
gave you that implication?
I think it was something like I think they said something like he killed the other Santa Claus and took his, like I think it was like a Santa Claus kind of thing with Tim Burton. Yeah. Because not Tim Burton, Tim Allen.
Tim Allen, yeah.
Because like the other thing is like it never, if that's not the case, then why does he have like guns under the bed and all that kind of stuff? And why is he out there like shooting cans and stuff?
I just thought he was a tough old guy. He's like an old codger. Yeah, he's like, get off my lawn. Basically, yeah. I mean, because he's like working out. He's like punching the bag. And it's implied that he's, or not implied, he's like super strong, right? Because the military guys can't lift the crate. He just like lifts it for him or whatever. They don't really do much with that.
They don't do anything with that. Like it would
kind of sucks.
Yeah. He should like picked up a car over his head or something.
Yeah.
Or picked up the sleigh.
Thrown it at Walton Goggins. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. No, but again, I liked I like he and Ruth's relationship so much. Like I just thought that's such
No, I
a
thought they
neat-
were awesome.
yeah, that's a cool way. Again, I would watch like a sequel with those two. You know, hopefully, and they stick to one good idea and not try and shoehorn a couple of other ideas in there or whatever. But I would definitely watch a sequel to this because I like that the depiction of Mr. and Mrs. Claus in this movie. I think it's neat. And Marianne Jean Baptiste, she's in a lot of stuff. I remember her from Mike Leigh's movie Secrets and Lies, which is a really, really good movie. Obviously, everybody knows Mel Gibson, and Walton Goggins is always fun. I think he's fun as the hitman.
He knows what kind of movie he's in, right?
Right.
Like when he screams, "Fat man!" Like, at that point, he knows what he's doing.
I love the part where, so first the little boy hires him to threaten the little boy's schoolmate, basically. Yeah, it's the girl that beat him at the science fair. So, they kind of threaten her. They don't harm her, but they threaten her. And when he drops her off at her house, he's like, "You know what happens if you talk, right? I'll kill your mommy. I'll kill your daddy. You have a dog?" And she's like, "Yeah, what's your dog's name?" What does she say, like JoJo Beans or something? He's like, "I'm gonna kill little JoJo Beans. Here's your phone." It gets out. It's funny. Like he's good as the hitman.
Because
he's
and I rewatched one scene too because like he's collecting like stuff made in Santa's workshop.
Yeah.
And they kind of pay that off.
He has a hatred for
But
Santa.
they really don't pay it off, right? Because he
and
tells
I think
Santa like
if they devote a movie just to that, it works better. Yeah.
So there's like a bunch of cool ideas that they try to blend together, but they really just didn't blend together. They didn't cohese.
Exactly.
They weren't cohesive.
Exactly.
The last thing I have, and then we'll get to critics' reviews or ratings, is that the Nelms brothers, they wrote the screenplay actually back in 2006, and they spent about 10 years shopping it around over 10 years around trying to get people on there. I think the first person signed on was Mel Gibson, and then they got Walton Goggins after that. So, you're more warm on the movie than I am. I do think there are bits and pieces in the movie that are interesting, and I do think it's worth a watch, but ultimately for me, it just kind of was a okay movie. It wasn't anything that was elevated or interesting or anything like that to me.
I totally get it. I think we're in agreement on a lot of things regarding it. And apparently the critics also weren't super high on it. It's only 45% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. Audience is warmer on it. That's 84% audience score.
Well, there you go.
No Leonard Maltin review that I found.
All right. Well, we're talking about a movie that stars Mel Gibson.
Yes, sir.
And he's had would you say an illustrious career? He's had a long career.
He's a very long career.
So we figured for our viewers' question, we'll pick favorite Mel Gibson movies. Now, we understand that Mel Gibson has had some personal issues in the past and has said some pretty atrocious things and might not be a great person, but we're, depending on where you fall in it, some people can let that go and enjoy the stuff they do. Some people can't. It's whatever camp you fall into, that's perfectly fine. We're in the camp that we can kind of separate the two.
Yeah.
And so we're going to talk about Mel Gibson's movies, but we're just going to let, we are aware of him as a full person, I guess.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
And I'm only looking at movies that he's acting in, not necessarily that he directed.
Yeah, for sure.
Although movies that he's directed, he also appears in.
So I'm at the first one that jumps out to me when you say Mel Gibson's movies was, I really liked What Women Want. Did you like that movie at all?
I do. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but I did like it.
I thought that movie was a lot of fun. I know they did a remake of it, and I haven't.
What Men Want, right?
I think it was What Men Want, and it might be a problematic movie now in 2020 versus when it came out in 2000.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen it in ages and probably over a decade, but I remember liking it. I remember him being very charismatic and interesting and all that kind of stuff in that movie. So I like that one a whole bunch.
Going through here, I will say one of his worst movie that I've seen, probably, at least his worst movie that I've seen in the last 10 or 15 years is the movie Edge of Darkness. That movie is terrible. But I always tell people, if you like to see movies where people get flung across the screen, Edge of Darkness is the movie for you, because it has two scenes where people
this is like yanked on the wire.
Well, one lady gets shot by a shotgun and just gets like blown across the house, and another lady like gets out of her car and gets hit by another car and just goes flying down the road. So whoever, I don't know who directed it. I guess I could look here. But the director, let's see, Martin Campbell.
Oh, Mark Campbell. Our
Okay, I didn't
boy.
realize it was Martin Campbell. I like Martin Campbell,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I don't know if Martin Campbell has a fetish for seeing people fly, 30 feet in the air and across the way. But it's weird. That movie has two scenes where people get like flung a ludicrous amount through the air after getting struck by something.
Gotcha.
But it's a terrible film, in my opinion.
Where do you fall on Braveheart? I haven't seen it since it came out in the early
Yeah,
90s, so I don't know.
I haven't
where
either. I
fall
mean,
on
I
it.
remember liking it then. I don't know if now I would have a different take. I feel like
Yeah.
I'd be a little more cynical towards
Yeah,
it
yeah,
now.
yeah.
But I liked it then. But yeah, that's the last time I saw it.
I remember. Oh, I remember my friend's mom watching over his house, and she's saying some pretty racy things about
Oh,
Mel Gibson flashing mooning people
oh
with her
yeah, okay.
large goblet of wine she was drinking out of. So that's a memory that's burned into
She
mind.
was
She was sauced.
she liked it.
She was sauced and saucy. I guess he came over the States because of the Mad Max movies. Those were his big,
Yes.
his big, his big claim to fame. Maybe not the best word, but
Yeah, I mean, they definitely made him a star. And I, I love the Mad Max movies. I've seen all of them several times. I would say The Road Warrior to me is the best
of his movies or of the Mad Max
of the
movies?
Mad Max movies. I actually, when I was thinking about this question, I almost thought Road Warrior is my favorite Mel Gibson movie, but I think there's another one that's going to beat it.
Okay. And then, do you want to say that now, or should we talk about the other big series he was in?
The Lethal Weapon series.
The Lethal Weapon
Lethal
series.
Weapon's a lot of fun.
A lot of fun. Yep. Shane Black, right? Wrote most of those.
At least I know the first one.
First one, yeah.
I don't remember if he was involved with the
And
other ones.
for me, that is like the quintessential Mel Gibson, which is like kind of funny, kind of serious, kind of actiony, and all that kind of stuff. So, my favorite movie is definitely like akin to that. My favorite Mel Gibson movie is akin to that kind of humor and that kind of vibe, I guess.
Yeah, the Lethal Weapon movies are great. I watched those last year, I think. I watched all four because I'd never seen the fourth one, so I watched the first three again
With Jet Li, man.
And I watched the fourth one, and they're all good. I mean, I definitely think they decline as they go along, but especially the first two are really really great.
I think I saw the fourth one in theaters.
Yeah, I'd never seen it until last year. It's okay. I hate The Patriot. I'll just go on record as saying that I can't stand The Patriot. I think
It's another one where Mel
terrible
Gibson
film.
wants to kill British people.
Yeah, I think that's a
He
terrible,
definitely has one of those fetishes.
terrible film.
And you haven't seen The Beaver yet.
I've not seen The Beaver. Some of this other stuff like Bird on a Wire. I remember that being kind of fun with Goldie Hawn. Air America with Robert Downey Jr. It's kind of fun. Of course, he did Hamlet. We've done Hamlet on the show, but not his Hamlet. I've never seen Maverick. I know that's a kind of a glaring hole for me.
Now that you mentioned that, that actually is my favorite, I think, Mel Gibson movie.
Maverick
I
is?
really like Maverick. It's a remake of the TV series Maverick,
Right.
and I think that movie is just a lot of fun. It just has the action, it has the comedy. I think he's great in it. He's charismatic and all that kind of stuff. Is it James Coburn who's the
Yeah. Or or not James Coburn. James Garner.
James Garner is in it.
Yeah.
There's Jodie Foster
Jodie
in
Foster.
it. I just think it's a fun movie. I like Maverick.
I've always heard good things. I just have never gotten around to seeing it. So we'll add it to my list. I'm going to mention one other movie before I say my favorite. What Signs?
Oh, that's true. That's.
As I was scrolling through, I saw that one. I was like, oh yeah, he's in Signs. That's right.
I think I like Maverick better than Signs, but Signs is
Signs.
definitely my favorite M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Gotcha.
I think that's the best movie he's done.
Yeah. So Road Warrior is probably the second favorite Mel Gibson movie for me. I think my first favorite Mel Gibson movie is Gallipoli, which
I've never seen it.
I mean, I would say he's the star. He and the other guy. There's like four guys in it, but there's basically two kind of principal actors in it.
What's
And Mel
the
Gibson is
Gallipoli
one of them.
about?
It takes place in World War One, I believe. World War One. It is about some Australian soldiers that go to fight at Gallipoli.
I think
which
we've
I think is in
done
Turkey.
We've done well with movies based in Australia. Like I think they've
It's good. It's a
been
Peter Weir
good and
movie.
interesting.
Peter Weir, yeah.
So
it's good. I've seen it lots of times. It's really good.
we'll have to add that to my list because
Yeah.
it's not a movie I was aware of.
It is good. Good movie.
All right.
All right.
Anything else?
Nope.
All right, guys. Well, that was our review on Fatman, and it was our favorite Mel Gibson movie. Let us know what your favorite Mel Gibson movie is. Leave it in a comment below. Maybe it's Gallipoli. Maybe it is something else that we have not seen or we haven't watched.
Man Without a Face.
Man Without a Face or whatever. Maybe you like him as he's in Pocahontas, apparently. You can leave that below.
Ransom. Give me back my son.
Yeah. Leave us a comment below or shoot us an email. Email address is realshame@gmail.com. We answer viewer questions like this one that are sent to that email address. So please send us your viewer questions, realshame@gmail.com. And like, subscribe, share, do all that social media stuff. It really does help. We really do appreciate that. And stay tuned next week as we watch some movies from Andy's List of Shame. And we continue our holiday theme. And we'll see you soon, guys. Thank you so much. Bye.